Selenium-WebDriver API Commands and operations. Fetching a page. The normal way to do this is by calling get, dependent on several factors, including the operating system and browser combination. WebDriver may or may not wait for the page to load. In some circumstances, WebDriver may return control before the page has finished, or even started, loading. To ensure robustness, you need to wait for the element s to exist in the page using explicit and implicit waits. Getting UI elements. Clear. If this element is a text entry element, this will clear the value. Click this element. Find element by. Find the first web element using the given method. Find elements by. Find all elements within the current context using the given mechanism. Get attribute java.lang.string name. Get the value of the given attribute of the element. Get CSS value java.lang.string property name. Get the value of a given CSS property. Get location. Where on the page is the top left-hand corner of the rendered element? Get size. What is the width and height of the rendered element? Get tag name. Get the tag name of this element. Get text. Get the visible, that is displayed. Is this element displayed or not? This method avoids the problem of having to pass an element's style attribute. Is enabled. Is the element currently enabled or not? This will generally return true for everything but disabled input elements. Is selected. Determine whether or not this element is selected or not. Sendkeys java.lang.char sequence. Keys to send. Use this method to simulate typing into an element, which may set its value. Submit. If this current element is a form, or an element within a form, then this will be submitted to the remote server. Locating UI elements. Locating elements in WebDriver can be done on the WebDriver instance itself, or on a web element. Each of the language bindings expose a findElement and findElements method. The first returns a web element object, otherwise it throws an exception. The latter returns a list of web elements. It can return an empty list if no DOM elements match the query. Locating UI elements. FindElement method. We need to use FindElement method frequently in our WebDriver test case, because this is the only way to locate any element in WebDriver. FindElement method is useful to locating targeted single element. If targeted element is not found on the page, then it will throw no such element exception. FindElements method. We are using FindElements method just occasionally. FindElements method will return list of all the matching elements from current page, as per given element locator mechanism. If not found any element on current page as per given element locator mechanism, it will return empty list. Locating UI elements. By ID. This is the most efficient and preferred way to locate an element. Common pitfalls that UI developers make is having non-unique IDs on a page, or auto-generating the ID. Both should be avoided. A class on an HTML element is more appropriate than an auto-generated ID. By class name, class in this case refers to the attribute on the DOM element. Often in practical use there are many DOM elements with the same class name, thus finding multiple elements becomes the more practical option over finding the first element. Locating UI elements. By tag name, the DOM tag name of the element. By name, find the input element with matching name attribute. By link text, find the link element with matching visible text. By partial link text, find the link element with partial matching visible text. By CSS, like the name implies, it is a locator strategy by CSS. Native browser support is used by default. By XPath, At a high level, WebDriver uses a browser's native XPath capabilities wherever possible. Locating UI elements. User input. Filling in forms. You can toggle the state of checkboxes, and you can use click to set something like an option tag selected. WebDriver's support classes include one called Select, which provides useful methods for interacting with these. Moving between windows and frames. WebDriver supports moving between named windows using the Switch to method. Popup Dialogues. Starting with Selenium 2.0 Beta 1, there is built-in support for handling pop-up dialog boxes. After you've triggered an action that opens a pop-up, you can access the alert. Locating UI elements. Navigation, history and location. Navigating to a page can be done by using the get command driver.get example.com. Navigate to and get do exactly the same thing. The Navigate interface also exposes the ability to move backwards and forwards in browser's history. Cookies. First of all, you need to be on the domain that the cookie will be valid for. Handling keyboard and mouse events. Handling special keyboard and mouse events are done using the Advanced User Interactions API. It contains the actions and the action classes that are needed when executing these events.